Who do you need to become right now in order to have the things that you want? Either concrete or abstract, it doesn't matter. The great news is you get to choose and you have control over who you want to become and what you want to do in order to have those things that you want. Hey there, I'm Amber Harper, former burned out teacher turned teacher burnout coach, dedicated to helping other teachers like you to grow through your burnout and take your next best steps toward what you want from your career in education and in life. After an embarrassing emotional breakdown in front of my teacher besties, I knew something needed to change, and that something was me. I decided that I wasn't going to settle for burnout as my sentence as a teacher, mom, wife, or friend. And I knew it was going to take way more than practicing conventional self-care to make the progress I wanted to make. No amount of manicures, bottles of wine, or bubble baths was going to save this girl. Fast forward to a few years later, and I've used everything I've learned about teacher burnout and personal development to write a book, build a course, and lead a community of burned-in teachers who refuse to settle for a life of burnout as their forever reality. I've used my burnout as an opportunity to become an active participant in my life, in the classroom and here on the mic, using all that I've learned to teach kids and serve teachers, and you can do the same. The Burned In Teacher podcast is one part burnout and all other parts action, inspiration, and support to help you grow through your burnout and live a happier, more fulfilled career and life. So take a deep breath, my friend, because you're about to take your next best step to becoming a burned in teacher. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Blinkist, my personal favorite way to listen to books in short blinks. Hear me out. It really is more knowledge in less time. What Blinkist does is it takes your favorite personal development, biographies, or autobiographies, and more, and boils them down into the most important points of the book. Blinkist is perfect for curious yet busy people, like us teachers, who love to learn yet don't have or make the time to sit down and read. This app offers a way for busy professionals to understand books and podcasts, in most cases, less than 15 minutes. I mean, how many times have you climbed into bed at the end of a busy day with a great book and the best of intentions, and before you make it to the third sentence, you're passing out? I've been there. I see you. You can read or listen to books, find your next read based on your interests, and even take advantage of new shortcasts. These are key insights from popular podcasts, too. So if you want to be more knowledgeable, successful, a better parent, happier, or learn how to be your best self at work and in life, Blinkist is for you. This app is how I have listened to some of my favorite books like Atomic Habits, Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and so many more books that I reference all the time in my daily life. 95% of Blinkist members read significantly more than before. 91% create better habits. 87% have more positive changes in their lives. And you know that's what I'm all about. As a BIT podcast listener, you get a 7-day free trial of Blinkist. And believe me, when you begin using this app, you will never read books the same way again. Go to www.bit.ly/BITblink7 to get 7 days free from Blinkist, my favorite app for learning so I can take my next best step to becoming and staying my best self. That's bit.ly/BITblink7. Burn on. Hey, Burned In Teachers. Welcome into episode 145 of the Burned In Teacher podcast. I am so excited that you're here today. We're going to be talking about the be, do, have mentality. Let me tell you something. This is something that I needed to hear and really internalize like 20 years ago. So I'm really excited to share this episode with you. This was episode 84. So it's not super old, but it has been around for a while. And it has become sort of one of my biggest mindset shifts that I try to share with teachers that are new to me, that in the midst of maybe waiting for someone to come and fix this situation for us in education, and in so many of the other areas in our life where we are experiencing trauma and disappointment with other people's decisions, how we have to make the conscious choice to be the person that we want to be despite what is happening around us, that we can't wait to have the time. I'm already getting into it, so I'm going to stop there. I just want to let you know, first of all, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for listening and tuning in during your summer break. I appreciate and acknowledge that you are taking time out of your summer to listen to things and to consider things that are going to help you to grow in your upcoming school year. So if you have found this podcast any time that you've listened to it, you found it valuable, or it's helped you to take a step that you otherwise would not have, I really encourage you and ask you to leave a rating and review anywhere that you listen. It really does help other teachers to find me. And in the state of education that we are in and beyond, we really need all the help that we can get and the support and proactive and positive people that we can bring into our lives. So definitely share, rate, review this podcast. I really appreciate it. And send me a DM, will ya? Will you let me know what has resonated with you, or questions that you have, or episodes that you'd like to see in the upcoming Burned In Teacher podcast season? I will be recording new episodes in August, and I'm so excited to let you into what I've been thinking and planning for the upcoming season. And without further ado, I really do quickly want to tell you thank you to Guitar Chick 122505. She said, such a great show. I love Amber's podcast. Loved listening and learning about how to educate and rejuvenate this school year. I appreciate that so much. And I believe that that's in reference to an episode that I did with Kelsey Sorensen from Wife Teacher Mommy. This was an episode that released, I believe, April 25th. And I actually just got done keynoting before I recorded this intro that you're listening to right now. I just got done keynoting that online conference, that summer conference this morning. So it's very fresh and it's real here today that I am trying to educate and rejuvenate you so you can move into your new school year with new beliefs, new thoughts, new ways of being. And that's what this episode is all about. So listen to it once, maybe listen to it twice, and hey, take a screenshot, share it out on social media, tag me at Burned In Teacher, and tell me what resonated with you the most. I cannot wait to hear from you. All right, let's dive into this episode all about the be, do, have mentality. Burn on. Now, this episode is also for any of you teachers out there who you've taken the quiz and you have found that you are at a stage 0 or 1. You're isolated, you're ashamed, you're resentful, you're cynical, you're paralyzed, you don't know what to do, but you're thinking about all the things you want to have. You're saying statements like, if I had this, then I would do this. Or if this person wouldn't be doing this, then I wouldn't have to do this. You know, any number of scenarios that puts you in the victim seat. And now let me be clear. I'm not judging. I'm not pretending to know your situation. Maybe you are working for somebody who has unrealistic expectations. Your situation may not be ideal. However, I want to introduce you to the be, do, have principle. Okay, so it goes kind of like this, and I want to start by asking you a question. What do you want to have in your life? Seriously, like pause me right now and think about it or write it out. Okay, ready? Pause. Okay, did you do it? I hope you did. So what did you say? What is it that you want? Did you say, I want to have more time to do the things that I love? I want to have a better relationship with my students. I want to have less work to do at night and on the weekends. I want to have a job where I feel appreciated. I want to have healthier habits. I want to have a more organized home. All of us want things, right? Like whether they're concrete or abstract, it doesn't matter. We just want to have blank. And there's always going to be something after we have that thing that we want, right? I mean, it's funny because we hear kids, talk about the things that they want all the time, but, adults are no different. We all want things. And there's nothing wrong with wanting or needing to have. However, I want to ask you another question, okay? Imagine this scenario. If a student entered your classroom and said, "Listen, teacher, I want to have an A, so go ahead and give me that A, and then I will do what I need to do and be the student that I need to be in order to have that A." Does that sound okay with you? What would you do in that situation? I mean, you'd probably answer with a laugh or, "That's cute," pat them on the head and then tell them to sit down, right? That's not realistic. That's not how the world works. When I decided that I wanted to have a Google Certified Educator badge back in 2016, I didn't contact Google and ask for one. I had to be and do the things that someone who has a Google Certified Educator badge and certification has. I had to study, I had to use the Google tools with my students, I had to know them inside and out, and I had to pass the test. And in 2017, when I was grading and planning all hours of every day for my 30 first graders, and I wanted to have more time with my family, I realized that I couldn't just want to have more time. It was just making me bitter. I had to do and be the type of teacher who maximized her time in class and made routines and systems that made things easier for me. In both of these scenarios, it was hard. I had to break old habits and beliefs in order to do the outward things that would actually get me to where I wanted to go. And now I know that what I was practicing was the be, do, have mentality. When typically we think about, if I have this thing, then I will be happy. And then I will do the things that a happy person does. But that's actually not how it works. When I stopped saying, when I have the time, I will become a Google certified educator. That was the thing I wanted more than anything professionally at that time. And when I stopped saying, when I don't have 30 first graders, then I'll be happier and I'll be better at managing my time and I'll simplify things after I have these 30 students. Let's face it, this year has been another doozy. And now that I'm back in the classroom, it has been more important than ever for me to stay focused on my core values, mindset, goals, and my habits. As a teacher in today's world, it seems like there is always something new and hard that can easily throw our lesson and or life plans off track. But when I began to burn out many years ago for the 5th time in my 6-year teaching career, I told myself that crying to and from work, grading, prepping, and planning on nights and weekends, and Sunday scaries was just part of being a good teacher. The current challenges we're facing in education today are monumental. All of these challenges make balancing teaching and your everyday life seem unmanageable. Until now, teacher burnout has been hacked. In Hacking Teacher Burnout, I share my 8-step process I designed to help myself and other teachers navigate our way out of burnout. You see, out of my rock bottom burnout moment, I learned ways to focus on what I can control while learning ways to let go of the things that are out of my control. My book shines a light on burnout as an opportunity for growth and change, and in it, I empower you to become a burned-in teacher, a happier, more fulfilled, efficient, and effective person in the classroom and in life. In Hacking Teacher Burnout, you will learn the steps you can take to discover your burnout type. Did you know everyone has a type? Take actions that are best for you depending on your type. Move through burnout rather than fight against it. Make time for things that bring you growth and joy, and thrive, not just survive, personally and professionally. And, of course, to prepare for hardship before it hits and to conquer it when it does. And right now, you can download Chapter 1 for free. That's right, you can start your journey out of burnout using Step 1 of my process on the house. Go to burnedinteacher.com/free chapter today to get your first chapter on me. And there's no better time. After the year we've had, we deserve to use what I have designed to believe, think, say, and do different things in order to see different results in our lives. Go to burnedinteacher.com/free chapter to get your free chapter today. You won't be sorry. Burn on. It was in those moments that I realized that happiness doesn't happen from the outside in. Okay, so for example, when I have that clean and organized house, then I'll be calm. Or when I have the most outstanding and understanding principal, then I'll be a happier teacher. Or when I have my normal teaching year back, right? I mean, preach. When I have my normal teaching back, then I'll be less overwhelmed and stressed. See, it actually happens from the inside out. So instead of if I have this, then it's I am organized and clean, and I do the things that a person who with a clean and organized house does. I do those things now. Or I am fair and understanding, and therefore I will be fair and understanding to everyone, even my principal who maybe isn't. Or I am a teacher with students, and I will be the teacher that keeps things simple for herself and her students so we can all be done with work at a decent time, no matter where my students are learning from or where I'm teaching from. You see, it all starts with being and doing the things that we need to do in order to have the things that we want. Okay, so for example, if you're really overwhelmed right now with all of the things that you're doing and you want to have better balance, you have to learn and be and do the things that somebody that has more balance does. I've recently in my Facebook group, I asked how many hours everybody was working, and I got all sorts of different answers. I had some teachers who answered 40 to 45 hours. I had some teachers who said 60 plus hours. I even had one teacher who said 100 hours one week, and the least amount of hours they've worked is 92. So how is it that some teachers are able to balance a 40, 45-hour work week with their personal life and others aren't? I really truly believe that it has to do with that teacher being and doing the things that they need to do in order to have what they want. So I want you to think back to that list of things that you said that you want to have at the beginning of this episode. What do you have to do and who do you have to be in order to have those things? Because those are the things you should be doing now. So if you're struggling with classroom management, what does somebody who already has wonderful classroom management, what do they do? How do they behave? What have they learned? What are they researching? You know, I was recently on Twitter, and there are some wonderful tweets out there from some fabulous people. However, there are also a lot of posts that make me wonder, how do you expect to have the thing that you want when you're spending time complaining about it on social media? And now you're scrolling through and listening to everybody's, or reading rather, everybody's responses. What could you be doing and who could you be being in order to have that thing that you want so badly? Because tweeting about it in a way that is not productive and not helping you to get results and not helping you to learn more is not going to help you to have that thing that you want. So this kind of goes back to the episode that I had with Dr. Fessich. That was episode 81 a couple of weeks ago. And we talked about, how you show up matters, and who you are on a daily basis and what you do on a daily basis is going to allow you to have those things that you want. That it may take you having some gut check conversations with yourself too about your habits and patterns. It makes me also think about last week's episode with Naomi and how she was doing and being the teacher that she thought that she had to be in the culture that she was in, until she realized that she didn't have to do and be those things to be a good teacher. And she made changes that benefited her, her mentality, and her ability to spend more time with her family. So if you need to listen to this episode again to kind of let it wash over you, go for it. But I really do. I want you to write down all the things you want to have. And then I want you to think about the second after you finish that list, what does somebody who has those things, what does somebody do? Who do you need to become right now in order to have the things that you want? Either concrete or abstract. It doesn't matter. The great news is you get to choose, and you have control over who you want to become and what you want to do in order to have those things that you want. So take a deep breath, because you just took another step to becoming a burned-in teacher. And don't forget to jump into the free Burned In Teacher Facebook group at community.burnedinteacher.com, and let's talk about all of those things you want to have and how we can help you to be and do the things that you need to do now in order to have them in the future. Burn on. I'll see you next week. If you enjoyed today's podcast episode, you can head over to burnedinteacher.com, where you can access the entire vault of Burned In Teacher podcast episodes. and more information about ways I want to help you go from burned out teacher to burned in human. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would be so grateful if you would head over to iTunes and leave a review and a rating about the Burned In Teacher podcast. Until next time, take a deep breath because you just took another step to becoming a burned in teacher. Burn on.